Quick disclaimer, any opinion said in this video may offend some people, and if you are one of those people, you shouldn't be here. Make sure to have an open mind and have fun with the podcast.
Oh, so you're telling me that if a female German starts hating on Jews and gets kicked out of art school, it's World War III?
Hello and welcome back to the Desensitized podcast. This is episode 11. You are joined by the usual suspects, myself and... Old Mate.
No.
Say hello, Old Mate.
No.
You do this every time. Say your name, my friend.
Not a chance. Chad Modi.
Chad Moldy is here alongside myself. We also have a guest today. Say hello.
Hello.
What's your name, guest?
Hannah.
Alright.
Chad Modi.
Chad Moldy. We got two Chad Moldys today. And we have a Hannah. Alright, are you guys ready to move into the first topic? Chad? Are you ready to move into the... Okay. Cool. So, monogamy and polyamory. Is it good for the world? Is it bad for the world? Is it good for people personally? Have you had any experience in either fields? What is your opinion?
Is more always merrier?
Is more always merrier? I couldn't have put it that better myself. Before we begin, there was some semantics that Hannah had pointed out to me earlier before we started. So, basically, it's all written out. So, all polyamory is ethical non-monogamy, but not all ethical non-monogamy is polyamory. Meaning that I'm guessing what this is saying is that hookup culture doesn't count as polyamory, right? Is that how I'm supposed to be perceiving this?
Well, just to put it right, so ethical non-monogamy is an umbrella term, and polyamory is just one way to practice it. And polyamory is having intimate relationships with multiple people at the same time. So I think hookup culture does count, but it doesn't count as ethical non-monogamy, depending on the situation.
Wait, so...
But I think in this sort of discussion, I think ethical non-monogamy should probably be put into consideration.
So what you're saying is that hookup culture is not ethical?
Well, it can be ethical, but hookup isn't like... It's dependent on the other partner of the relationship and what they think of it, if they've consented or they're in the loop.
Yeah, but the idea about polyamory is that it's a relationship.
Yeah, it could be.
There's a relationship
polyamory,
involved?
Yes.
Okay. So polyamory wouldn't count as someone who is single participating in hookup culture?
Oh, yeah. That wouldn't count, no.
Okay, cool. But other than that, pretty much, it's basically...
Yeah.
How we'll define it as monogamy is having one person that you're committed to. Polyamory is either having multiple people you're committed to or having one person you're committed to, but you're not fully committed to them when it comes to your sexual needs.
Yes.
Okay, so, semantics out of the way. Opinions. Who wants to begin?
Sounds kind of bullshit to me.
What about it makes it bullshit to you? Why?
No, I reckon the guest should go first.
Okay, alright, your opinions then, Hannah.
Okay. I think that, I've never done polyamory. I don't have any experiences with it. I have had a friend who had polyamory, but ultimately, everyone's different. But I remember them explaining to me that their experiences were, yes, sometimes they experience jealousy, but I don't think that maybe, I don't know if that's every relationship polyamorous, but they did admittedly find themselves clinging to one person more than the other two involved.
Yeah.
They had a more preferred person, and it was a very interesting dynamics, and they'd also encountered where the other party got jealous, and they sorted through those issues. They're not still in that polyamorous relationship, but apart from that, I can't share any experiences or anything like that. My opinion is, it's not that I'm afraid to form an opinion. I just need more perspective to it, but I haven't seen a lot of times where it works smoothly, and I do believe that in the situation that it would work, it requires a very specific kind of relationship where both parties of two people in relationship, if they're introducing another person, they both have to be 100% on board.
Sweet, so it doesn't work. Problem solved. It's fucking fair.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Jade on this, but it's more than just a personal level for myself, but it's also, like, I can't tell what other people personally think that they need, right, because I'm not them, but I can look at it on a societal level, and I think that polyamory is a net negative for society. And the reason why...
So you see
if you want to rebuttal me, go ahead. Or if you want to say you agree, go ahead. I feel like I cut you off when you was about to say something.
Yeah.
You wanna go first? Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, no, I'm completely getting this wrong, but it was funny to me, is stop being a greedy bastard.
Being a what?
A greedy bastard. Leave some for the rest of us.
Okay, so now that I've formed my thoughts a bit more on this, right? So I had it formed before, but I had to just kind of recoup. I think it'd be very difficult on family life. Like, if you've got some children and you've got a lot of parental figures involved, you know, it could make things quite complex for the child involved if you've got a family. But honestly, I can kind of see it at a casual level, not like full-on seriously, which I imagine a lot of polyamory relationships might be looking at is seriously. I could see it more casual, like in a friends with benefits kind of way, but then it wouldn't really be polyamory. So if that kind of paints what I think.
For me, I think that that's precisely why I think it's a net negative for society, because I believe, this is my own personal opinion, but I believe that the most important thing for a society to function properly is for there to be good, strong family units. And polyamory doesn't allow that to happen very effectively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it means like...
No, not when you've got like 5 people around that you're all calling dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. By any means, I don't really see the issue with like people having multiple parental figures, like people you look up to, kind of parentally, but not actual parents. Actual parents, that could be very complicated. I think, like, you know, extended families, people get remarried, whatever else, like, life happens, those are complicated enough. You add polyamory, let's say you've got one half divorce from the polyamory, and then you've got another thing, or let's say both get divorced and form another polyamory relationship. It's just way whack. And then you see all these family trees being all messed up, but yeah.
Even if it's, like, on the other hand, it's like someone doing, I guess, hookup culture, right, on the side of their relationship. It sort of shows the message that to their partner that their partner is not good enough. Because that's the whole point, right? It's about fulfilling your needs. And if your partner can't fulfill your needs, then why are you with them in the first place?
Yeah, then why are you with their partner?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and some people, like, I've kind of seen where it's like, either they have commitment issues or they've cheated repeatedly, and this is the thing that's stopping it from happening. And, you know, like, it works for them, but I don't know, it kind of seems a bit sad to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But, like, to me, what I'm saying is it's like, it seems to be, you know, when you'd, like, got a hole in the wall and you don't want to fix it, so you just put tape over it? It literally, that's how I see it. It's just kind of tape over the hole. The hole's still there, but there's tape.
I completely agree with you. For me, the only advice I can give to those people is control yourself, G.
Yeah.
I feel like, if you ask me, the whole situation, like, I feel like those sorts of relationships often build themselves off of one person having fear in the relationships, or one being afraid or not wanting to lose the other,
yes,
or one not wanting to break the other's heart.
Yep, I
or like
completely
they
agree.
don't have the feelings.
Yeah, they don't want to make you, like, they're afraid to hurt you, but they don't feel you that way. So it goes, oh, why don't we have an open relationship? Why don't you grow some fucking balls, you prick?
Yeah, and it's like so weird, because like then they'll explain it like they like this person for that aspect, that person for that aspect. Like, they're just choosing bits and pieces that they like. Like, oh, I like this person's personality, but I like this person's sexual energy. Or it's just like, just find someone with both, or just do without one.
Yeah, exactly. Prioritize something, or find someone with both if you can, if it's even possible.
Or just lower your expectation. Well, not even lower. Make them real, because obviously your expectations aren't real. Because it's not about lowering your expectations. Just see if they're real or not.
I don't expect to jump on someone with wings.
Well, nowadays you could probably get that with enough I
would get someone who says they identify as a nigger with wings.
Oh yeah, but it's 2023. But yeah.
On top of what Jade said, I think it's very true that a lot of it stems from fear, because I feel like a lot of the time there'll be situations where the girl will be like, "Oh, let's have a polyamorous relationship," and then the guy
I've seen a lot
would be
with guys
like,
say that.
I mean, a lot of guys might do it as well, but I feel like the dynamic is different when the guys do it. Me being a guy, I see it from this perspective, is that the girl will be like, "Oh, I want to be polyamorous and stuff, right? Because I want to, I don't know, I need to fulfill needs sexually or whatever. I need to explore myself or whatever." And then the guy will be like, "Oh, I don't want to lose this girl." So then they like stay because of fear. You know what I mean? So
Or
I
they're
think
like,
that doesn't
"Hell
really
yeah,
end.
2 women."
It could be that way, but a lot of the time for when the girl talks about a polyamorous relationship, especially in the relationship where a guy is scared to lose the girl, it's usually going to mean that she's going to have other dudes.
That would really suck though, because it's like, imagine like there wasn't enough prior communication and you didn't really know, and out of the blue they mention wanting to be polyamorous, and then like, where's this coming from? So they sit down and work it out, and then in their mind this is like a solution, and then because they haven't taken the issue on head on, or maybe this is their way of so-called taking the issue on head on, you know, they see this as a solution because it seems to be working for them, because they haven't sorted the issue the traditional way, or however you want to say it.
Yeah, and I mean, it also limits their progression in their relationship, because obviously you can't really start a family that way.
Yeah, it'd be very complicated to start a family. I'm not very, but like just more, and like with the children as well.
Yeah.
That's just before you mention, you know, raising the children. I feel like it'd be like a co-parenting situation, but like in the household, all in the same household.
No, I mean, I know that if I was a child and I saw that mommy was going and having a bunch of different dudes over, like, it would just mess me up. Or dad was bringing a bunch of girls over as well. It would mess me up too, because I'd be like, what the hell's going on between them? Why is he not with mummy? What's wrong with mummy? What's wrong with daddy?
What's going on?
Yeah.
You just raised something very interesting, because like, if a child's, usually people kind of embody what they've been raised with.
Exactly.
Like, it's not always the case, but let's say you had a parent with like extreme anger issues, you're more likely to get anger issues. If you see something happening and all that other thing, you're more likely to copy that. You'll probably have questions like, you know, kids go to school, they've got 2 parents, you'll be wondering why you have 3, and then even if you don't see past that sort of thing, you're growing up, you've got 3 parents or 4 or however many, and it kind of sets the expectation that, oh, when I have a relationship, I should be able to have 2 people in there, or, you know, it sets really weird examples for your relationships in the future, and that'll contribute to societal issues with future generations.
Exactly. That's pretty much exactly how I figure it, because that's why I think that it's so important for there to be a strong family unit, because obviously in a strong family unit you have 2 parents who really love each other and show that to the children, and then that will make the children think, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do, you know, I'm supposed to have a family with someone that I really love. So when you come from places like broken homes, and they have the likelihood that they're going to be broken as well, there's also the chance that obviously they're like, fuck no, I don't want to do the same thing that my parents did. But, you know, overall, when you look at people who become criminals and stuff like that, you know, a lot of them come from broken homes, especially people who go into gangs. And I think that might be a part of it, because they didn't really see that loving parental relationship. So it sort of makes them think that they need to be more like, you know, they can't show love as much.
Yeah, with most things though, there's patterns, you know, like you look at someone's choices and then you look back at the background, and sometimes the background can say a lot about a person. I mean, obviously whether they've gone against the gradient or they've followed through with how things happened, but, you know, there's always a pattern.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, like I said, most, when it comes to criminals and gang members and thugs and stuff coming from broken homes. But yeah, that's basically the root of my whole idea, is that the whole polyamory thing will raise children to think differently, and that in turn will be a net negative for society. Or polyamory will stop people from even starting families to begin with, meaning there are no new children, meaning there is no society. So it's a net negative. That's
very possible outcomes. I mean, it doesn't hurt to suggest that maybe it could help people think more openly, but I mean, with things already presented, you see why these things happen. I kind of doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, obviously, if some people are polyamorous, it's not destroying society, but,
Some people just want to mind their own business, and do their own thing, just to put it out there and put it on others and say, this is perfectly normal, this is perfectly okay and everyone should be doing this. It's not really the way to go.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I guess anything like this, it's always about, like, if you want to mind your own business, yeah, that's fine. But to say that, this is something everyone should look at, yeah. I mean, not that that's always...
that's Alabama.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of things that I say are negative, in my personal opinion, is that I never go and say that I want people to be, like, persecuted for it or something like that. I never say that I want people who are polyamorous to get stoned or go to jail or anything like that. Yeah, or die or anything. I just say that I don't think it is the best decision.
I mean, at the end of the day, they think they're doing the right thing. They're trying to be happy. They're trying to live their life. There's a lot of cases where they're just not hurting. They're not really hurting anyone. They're living in their own world, that's fine. But it's about whether or not they're trying to, like, kind of shove it down our throats or not,
Yeah,
well, that's the exact concept with people like fucking vegetarian, protesters for things like being a vegetarian or being religious. They try and push it. And, yeah, I would have a problem with polyamorous blah blah if they were trying to push it that was supposed to make it normal, make it real, blah blah blah. Like, well, bring the fucking thing, but if you push, I'm going to give you my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, not that I've been pushed, not that it's actively getting pushed. I don't think it's actively getting pushed, but it's being more and more exposed and kind of put into a picture that it's normal and that it's healthy. I guess in some ways, sometimes people are happy, but happy doesn't always mean healthy. But not.
You also
not
can't try and push things like this, because when you try and push stuff and it starts picking up traction, people start doing it solely to be different. They don't do it for the same reason. It's like, fucking, like you see in shows and shit, people go, oh, I'm vegetarian now, oh, yeah, no, that was last week, I'm not anymore, blah, blah, blah. They switch up their personality to try and fit in with society, so if it became normal, or started picking up traction, everybody would start doing it to try and fit in, because there'd be a social class for it.
And it's like anything as well, like, but like, even if, like, you're gay and, like, someone else is straight and they don't understand it, because, like, from a straight standpoint or gay standpoint, it's about respecting each other's differences and not trying to, like, push it onto the other person and be like, even if you don't like it, it's just like, hey, I understand you're different and I see you've got your perspective, I've got mine, we'll respect each other's, like, we'll respect each other's space. We don't have to necessarily respect each other's differences, but just gotta respect each other as a person.
Yeah, at the end of the day, at least agree to disagree.
Yeah, agree to disagree, exactly. And some people don't know how to do that, because, like, they think, well, I don't like what you're doing, so therefore I'm not going to like you. You don't have to like what they're doing. You don't have to respect what they're doing. You just have to respect them.
Pretty much. Like, don't put the you don't like what they're doing. Good on you, bro, but, like, are they pushing it on you?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. If someone's polyamorous, you don't like it, you don't have to respect what they're doing, but you can respect them. If they ask you for their opinion, well, you let them know you don't respect it, you don't like it, but apart from that, you don't have to shove it down their throat every 3 seconds that you don't like it, because they know.
Me being me, I'll let you know once. Like, upon meeting, if I find out you're gay, I'll tell you, well, that's good for you, but you keep your ball sacks on that side of the table.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a thing like that, you don't have to pretend like it. You can be very plain that you just don't, that you don't agree with it, you don't like it, but don't shove it down their throats every 3 seconds that you don't like it, you don't agree with it. Same as the other way around. If they do in their ways and they believe you should conform and be like them, well, they shouldn't do that either.
It's funny because going along with it, knowing you don't like it, makes you fake. Telling them or forcing the truth on them makes you an asshole.
But
so
I mean,
all
I
you
guess you
got
could
to
tell
do
them
to
the
not be
truth.
fake or an asshole is just say
yeah.
it and leave.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you ask for opinion, you tell them, but you know, obviously, like, if someone wants you to go along with something, or, you know, like, oh, for example, even, like, with polyamorous, like, marriage, for say, like, hey, I'm having my marriage with, like, my 2 other partners, you're invited, or whatever else, like, you don't have to go. Even if you don't go along with everything they do, you can respectfully decline. It can still be although, mind you, in this whole society where everyone's kind of, like, driven to me, like, all about me, they'll say anything's disrespectful, they'll do anything like that, but it's just pretty much in your mind. If you know you're treating people with respect and you just kind of do what you do, but you're not forcing it down their throat every 3 seconds, then I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah, but then that starts a very interesting conversation about where the line is drawn about that. Because if you run into someone who's very nice to you, but in the meantime they like to murder people, they're not going over to you and going, oh, murdering people's fine and stuff, but they just like to murder people. That's
obviously
their own
there's a
little
line.
Yeah, but where does that
really
line? Where's that line get crossed?
Don't murder me.
I mean, you could talk about ethics and stuff, but, you know, in an ever-changing world, ethics are also changing, which makes things, like, very complicated. You know, ethics are changing, so you can't just be like, where's the line? Well, where it's ethical, everything's ethical nowadays, almost. You could go to, like, what is it, Sweden, and kill yourself in a suicide pod thing. Ethics are, like, changing all the time, and it's pretty much just, like, do something, I don't know, if it's not hurting other people, but then you could solely believe that that's not, like, that's the right thing, so it's really complicated, but pretty much just do what you believe is right, because someone else is gonna believe it's wrong anyways, and screw them. And so what, if you're just a homicidal person, then whatever, if you think you're doing the right thing, whatever, but everyone else is gonna hate you, and I don't agree with it, and the person next to you might not agree with it. I mean, I guess it's just try not to be an arsehole, I guess. It's pretty much just like, screw it.
Yeah, this is like a never-ending conversation, because it's like, you try not to be an arsehole, but what defines an arsehole? And then it's completely subjective again.
I mean, I guess, like,
cannot not be subjective.
Defining an arsehole, it's like, well, pretty much not being completely selfish, like, the detriment of less lives. I wouldn't say the least, less lives. I guess if you could look at that, what doesn't detriment?
Oh, it's like the conversation, that typical fucking morality where you got 5 people on a train track and 1 fat guy.
Yeah.
Or 1 old person.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I was about to bring that up, where it's like, then you've got the ethics where it's like, you have to kill a certain amount of lives to save lives in some situations, just like the train tracks one. Sometimes lives dying is, like, essential to save lives, like, and then that's when you have war and stuff like that. You know, you gotta kill some lives to save lives on either side. So,
or you do what Andrew Tate said that he would do and just not pull anything and leave it how it was. Whoever dies, dies, because it's not my problem.
I'd say it's a fairly decent way to see things, honestly. Sometimes it's just not your best.
Well, no, exactly. Like, there's a train coming. Why am I pulling this switch? Is it because I was the closest, or...?
Just let it happen, however it already was, because otherwise a decision is made and then you'll be liable. Yeah.
In the end,
but then,
if I touch the switch, then it's my fault. But if I don't touch the switch in the first place, it's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you could take the standpoint, at least it wasn't my fault. Whoever had that switch like that last, it's their fault. Whoever was managing the train tracks and the train schedules that day, it's their fault.
Instead of blaming me, why didn't you blame the nigga who put those 5 people there?
Yeah.
Huh?
So I'm sure someone would have seen it. Unless they don't know their job, but then who hired them? Why weren't they getting checked? Why are people getting... Maybe people didn't get proper training, or what was wrong with the people who are in those positions? They were negligent and lazy. I guess there's a way to kind of avoid situations where you're messing up. It's just you just don't do anything at all. But there's some scenarios, like, sometimes you have to be the person to make the change, but it's just the judgment on when that is, and it depends on how you're raised and whatever the situation is. But I guess it's just easier to do it that way. Just don't do it. Don't do anything.
Yeah, no, it's not my problem. I'm not the one getting hit by a train. Well, then again, one day I might be the guy in this world that's getting hit by a train, and then...
If you're in the train, get one of those little, like, glass breakers, break the window and do a little, like, total roll out, you know? See if you can make it then, because if you're about to die in the next 3 seconds, at least you're giving yourself another chance. Depends on how you land.
Yeah,
I've seen
wow.
them do it in the movies. I think the people on the trains were clearly too dumb to break a window and get out.
I'm pretty sure he's meaning people are tied to the tracks and they're going to get run over, and you have the choice
Oh,
to switch.
yeah, the ones tied to the tracks.
Yeah.
I've seen where it's like,
use a glass
train.
breaker then.
There's actually a game where it's like people tied to the tracks, or they're in the trains. I was just assuming it was the train one, but tied to the tracks, yeah, they're just dumb enough to get to that situation, I guess. I'm just joking.
Oh yeah, let's blame them for being abducted and getting tied to the tracks.
Wrong place, wrong time. They just got bad luck, and it's their own fault. I'm joking.
I feel like the whole with Andrew Tate, yeah, like there's a lot of things that I do like what he says, but that I think that might be something I kind of dislike because it seems like such a cop out.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest,
there's...
No, not my problem, bro. I just let all these people die. What?
I don't know, it's really complicated to be able to judge where, like, you have the power, so you should be the one making the difference. Well, sometimes just because you have the power doesn't mean you should do it. So it depends on the scenario, and even then, not everyone's going to agree. So I guess not doing anything at all, I can kind of see that. But with, like, anything that someone says, you see, like, Andrew Tate, with anything that anyone says, you wouldn't want to agree with everyone on everything 100%. Because even your neighbour beside you, you may get along with them very well, they may be your best friend, but there's always going to be a couple of things you don't agree on. And even if it seems like you agree on everything, nothing's 100%. It's just when someone is that influential, more people see it, which means more people are going to disagree with them and agree with them. And, yeah, so... Well, even with this scenario with the polyamory, it's just like, yeah, it's never going to be 100%. It's not 100% wrong, but it's definitely not 100% right. And it's just how you sit on that scale.
Cool,
Yeah,
that sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for you guys. You guys don't get to listen to a crazy opinion. Maybe I should just make one up on the spot. Polyamory is how humans should have been forever. It's like the family monogamy doesn't work. Because, you see, with the family, right, you have to have snot-nosed kids, evil little creatures who make life worse for everyone.
Okay.
What I think is we all should have been born.
Remember the simple days when kings and all the people who could afford it had like 100 wives? They were happy, that worked. See, that was successful. They were kings, many wives. It's not very polyamory, but multiple. It worked.
It only worked because they had people standing on the side so that if anyone disagreed with it, they got their head chopped off and rolled down.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, it did work. That is a way of making it work.
In biblical times, even the people who, like, the guys had, like, a bunch of wives, so whatever.
Yeah, wasn't it crazy... Oh, yeah, because it's all Charles Darwinism. Like, it's the crazy statistics. I saw it the other day. I was looking at it with my boss. We're looking at these statistics, and apparently about, like, 35% of the men in those times were impregnating 100% of the women. So she was a rough life for the other guy, the other 65% of guys, or so.
Yeah, no, she was a rough life. We got our relationship with the old right left hand.
Well, like, a lot of the biblical times, like even in the Bible, whatever, if you're like, biblical, it even says many times a lot of those relationships, there's this dude who has like multiple wives, and like a lot of them, they didn't even have to be a king or whatever. They just had multiple wives. And they were like, they were like followers or something. Like, it happened a lot. Here's a really interesting question. At what point in time did people turn around and say, you should only desire after one person now? Like, it's just totally wrong to do it the other way. Maybe they just wanted life to be simple and simplistic, and they've just, kind of bundled it down. And I like that simplicity. It's kind of like, it makes things, like, comfortable. I imagine it makes a lot of people feel a lot more, like, comfortable in their relationships and be able to form stronger bonds.
What, to be with just one person?
Yeah, just one other person, yeah.
Just real quick. That thing that you said, Tidal, about the other, what was it, 65% of men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going back to a previous podcast for a split second.
Yeah.
I know what those other 65% of men were doing. That's when they discovered milk. This wasn't my choice to do it.
Wait.
Oh, what a
milk or other
perfect
guys'
throwback. What a perfect
Cow
throw-
milk. We
what
had a
perfect
podcast
throwback.
We went
Oh,
into a
God.
conversation about how the guy who discovered milk and the first guy to discover cooking eggs. And, yep, that's how they figured out milk. And cheese.
Yeah. When I look at statistics about that stuff, right?
When
like,
men can't get their fulfillment, they find it in other areas, other species.
either that or they just kill themselves. And I don't even think that's a joke.
Oh, actually, so, 2 years ago, there was, I've got a statistic from 2020. Oh, 3 years ago, sorry. 3
Yeah.
years ago, the ratio from men to women was like 102 men for every 100 women. So there's actually more men than women, but that's 2 years ago. I'm going to see if I can find a current statistic.
Oh, yeah, these statistics are interesting to talk about.
Oh yeah,
When it
so
comes to
2022,
polyamory
the
and
global
monogamy.
ratio is 1.018. It means that we have slightly more men than women. So pretty much is so it's like 1.018.
That's not cool, there's too many guys.
I
You
can see
fucking
what-
homos be
You know,
gay.
like, doesn't help when there's like a huge uprising in like gay women as well. So
Yeah.
so it means like there's less women available.
Times be tough. I think back in the day...
Oh,
Yeah, I think back in the day, the whole thing was like before, when it was the king would take the majority, and then the peasants were left to the scraps, right?
Chicks who look drunk.
yeah, no, let's the vultures.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
then
it's like this one
as,
looks too inbred. You can have her.
as the monogamy came in, right? It sort of balanced everything out. now
Oh,
it was-
true. It's like you can only have one woman because there's not enough to go around. If you have two, all the other peasants are going to kill you.
Yes, but this is where I'm going into. So we had this whole period of monogamy, and now that we go into polyamory, it's making the same thing happen again. Except a lot of the time it's not just going to be because, I don't know, it's just not going to be because a bunch of girls are sharing one guy. It's going to be because a bunch of guys are sharing one girl. Because of polyamory, you know?
Oh, so you're telling me that if a female German starts hating on Jews and gets kicked out of art school, it's World War III?
Wait,
What?
come again?
Well, the roles are reversed, but history's repeating itself, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. That's
okay,
what
not
I'm
to-
sort of thinking, because I don't know.
Not to like foreshadow or like get into some other sort of conversation, but it's like, you know, when there's like a whole reign of like white supremacy, I think it's happening but in reverse. Repeating itself but in reverse. The other way around.
It could be.
Yeah.
It definitely
Oh, so
could
the
be.
Jewish will win.
Yeah. Minority wins.
Yeah, take that, Germany. But you're glad to hear that one title.
Little personal attacks. Alright, sweet.
Oh.
Is there anything else you want to add before heading on to some statement stalemate?
Another person to the relationship. I'm joking.
What
It was
relationship?
a dumb joke. Is there anything you want to add? No mind.
Yeah, you know, I understand. I understand.
Sorry.
It's quite okay. You don't have to apologize. Now, are we ready
Oh.
for some statement stalemate?
I'm very monogamous. Ugh.
If
No,
you
it just seems like I'm not. I should have said nothing.
Okay. Statement
Yeah.
stalemate. Are we ready or are we not ready?
When did I ask, bro?
Bro, you asked when you were like, yes, let's do a podcast. Dick.
No, that's a statement. That wasn't a question, bro.
Guess we've got a bit of a statement. Stalemate.
What?
Just hurry up. Just tell me the fuck.
Okay, first statement. Basically how this works, Hannah, what you do is I will say a statement, you say whether you agree or disagree with it, and then
Yeah.
you'll have a chance to elaborate, and we will all say agree or disagree and elaborate on why we agree or disagree.
Alright.
Maybe we'll spark a conversation, maybe not. Alright,
Alright.
first statement. It's unrealistic to commit to someone forever. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Why?
Actually, okay. Well, I disagree generally, but not fully. Like, it's kind of hard to. Okay, So, if you really found someone and it really works, I think I mean, it's not unrealistic to stick with someone forever, as in, like, in a way of thinking, like, you're happy with this person, you don't... I mean, I guess life happens. I'm just trying to recoup my thoughts right here, because I can see where this is easily going to get turned on me. But let's say, okay, if it's like your first, second relationship, whatever, but I'm saying it's not unrealistic in a sense that once you've married them, like, you've married them and you know, like, you're fully committed, you've brought children into the mix as well, it's not unrealistic to think you're going to be with them forever or want to be with them forever. But, like, if you're dating someone, you've been with them for ages, maybe you're engaged or whatever else, or whatever, even, like, life happens, I'd say, then obviously it's unrealistic. But once you get past and you've got a family and you've got life going, it's not unrealistic to want to be with them forever or think or whatever else. But it's ultimately up to both parties, and life will happen too, so it's only generally speaking.
Alright. Jade?
Got nothing to add, actually.
I'd say, in my opinion, it depends on how you define committing. Let's say if we define committing as getting married, right? For me,
yeah,
I will agree with the statement because I don't believe in marriage because I'm not religious, and I don't think that marriage has any sort of real non-religious benefit. The only benefit I can think of is
financial.
Maybe financial. There's some sort of tax break that I don't even know about. I'll have to learn more about that. But the other idea is that it's making the government involved in a way that makes it so that there's a contract that sort of forces you to be committed more. And in that sense, I don't think that makes a lot of sense, because I have a feeling that in terms of marriage, the woman in the marriage, because of how it was set up before, because of the old gender roles in society, it made sense back in the day. But nowadays, it sort of just gives them an incentive to leave, and then the guy is punished when she leaves, or so that he leaves. But back in the day... this, right? Well, if I could finish, that would be amazing.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good, it's all good, I understand. You have something that you're eager to say, and it's good. So after you finish, yeah. I'm happy to listen to you. But yeah, I'm just saying, back in the day it made a lot of sense because women couldn't work then, so obviously when the woman breaks up with a dude, how is she supposed to survive? Completely fair that she takes half of his stuff. Completely fair. But now that the woman can work and doesn't really need the man for that sort of thing, it doesn't make sense anymore. And because I'm not religious, there's no binding between me and God that brings us together, and because in the religious sense divorce doesn't exist, but in the atheist sense divorce does exist, therefore making marriage meaningless in my opinion. But that's just me. So I'm saying it's unrealistic to commit to someone forever if I'm talking about marriage. If I'm talking about the idea of having kids with someone, or thinking or saying that I want to be with someone forever, I think that's completely realistic for me. I mean, it's obviously good to stay grounded and, you know, realize bad things can happen, as has happened to me recently. But in saying that, I don't think it was a bad thing that back during the relationship I was willing for this to continue. You know what I mean? Without having my reservations going, oh, maybe it could fail, because, you know, if it's going to fail...
You weren't down.
Yeah, if it was going to fail, it's going to fail regardless as to how I think about it. And it's going to hurt regardless. Even if I thought, oh, maybe it'll fail, it's still going to hurt. Because either I'm going to be lonely because I'm never going to build the connection, or the connection's going to be broken. So either way, if it's going to fail, it's going to hurt. But if I do try, you know, it's a lot less likely to fail. And if it was going to work, me not giving that connection or making that connection prevents the thing that was going to work from happening 100%. You know, but giving that connection gives me a chance. So I guess it's kind of a different thing for me, because marriage is completely, for me, it's out of the question due to my religious beliefs, because I don't have religious beliefs. But when it comes to thinking, oh, you know, I want to be with someone for, let's say, the rest of my life, I think that's not an unrealistic thing to think in my head, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to think in my head. Because unrealistic assumes that you're having a delusion that makes you live in a way that won't bring you fulfillment. Like, for instance, if you're saying, oh, I'm already perfect, however the way I am, I'm already perfect, and if that makes you believe I don't have to improve in anything, then that means that it's a detriment to your own life, or a detriment to the people around you. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what were you going to say, Hannah?
Sorry, I didn't realise. There was a bit of a break, and I think it might have been latency, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's all good.
I was going to say like this. If you put into perspective, like, humans like to celebrate everything, right? Even if it's not a legal thing. Let's say you take the legal aspect out, which some people do. They don't sign legal papers for their marriage. They do it more for, like, a ceremony thing, but, I mean, at that point, you might as well just sign the papers. And some people do it without the celebration, too. They just sign the papers, get eloped. I've seen either way, but humans celebrate birthdays, they celebrate other things. It has no legal or government requirements to do those things or celebrate anything like that, but people do it anyways because it's kind of like reaffirming like what has happened, or like to some people it's like consolidating their commitment, like it's bringing it to the next level, it's kind of committing it. It's kind of like the last check. It's like, if I make a whole big public thing and I hold a whole ceremony, and even if I sign the legal papers, it's like I'm bringing it to the next level, like this is it, this is the consolidation, the next, like that's the way they bring their relationship in. And like in relation to like when you sign the legal papers as well, like let's say someone cheated and whatever else like that, if you've got evidence and you bring it into divorce court, like if you have a relationship with someone and you agree on, if you bring back into the polyamorous thing as well, if you agree on bringing someone else, it's like, yeah, well, then if you don't agree and they bring in another person, it's considered cheating and you can bring it to the court for divorce. It's like, well, there's actually a whole set of things that happens, both like money-wise and possessions and everything else like that. Whereas, you know, if you're just dating someone, nothing else really happens. So I guess there's a couple little factors to consider.
Yeah, that's exactly what makes me not want to believe in marriage, is because it was set up as a good thing in the beginning. That's what I fully believe, because it was, and now it's more of a punishment. Yeah, it was a protection for women back in the day, but now it's just a punishment for men, generally speaking. I mean, some women have been punished by marriage now. Like there's, what's her name? I was getting told by someone before, but some dude got married to a pop singer or something like that.
Gotta sign that prenup.
Yeah, they didn't sign the prenup, and now she has to pay alimony for ages. I think it wasn't Beyonce, terrible. I'm not sure. But yeah, a lot of people are terrible. Yeah, but you know, that's the story of a lot of men over the past few decades, so you know.
I never understood the whole celebration thing, like birthdays and all that. It seems like very...
It's a human nature thing, but it depends on how you're raised.
Me.
Yeah. But society is very much me. But to a lot of people, it's like romantic, you know, if you're publicizing it together. If it's all about, birthdays is very much me. But like marriages seems a little bit less that way. It's just like, oh, us, look at, you know, but even then it's still a bit more me. But I get the whole birthday appeal with all me, whatever. Everyone ages. But yeah.
You see, never celebrated. Well, when I was younger, but I don't get it. I don't celebrate things like that anymore.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't really do anything. I didn't even have a birthday dinner. I didn't even have a birthday cake for my 18th, so... Yeah. I don't really see anything for celebrations, but you know, like, birthdays, you don't get, like, a lot of them, but, you know, birthdays happen all the time. I do it for my children, to give them an opportunity to see if they like them. I mean, I think it'd be a bit depressing if their friends have birthday parties and I don't make any accommodations. I guess I'd give them the option.
Well, I mean, yeah, because birthday parties are, for a kid... a lot of memories it's a social are made thing. In those things. Yeah, exactly. All right.
For an adult, it's different anyways.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Next statement. Are you guys ready? We've already really covered this, so we'll just do it really quickly. A polyamorous relationship is a suitable place to raise children. Yes.
Agree.
No. You agree? Disagree. You agree or disagree, Hannah?
Disagree.
Yeah, I disagree as well. Likewise.
Do
we really want to talk about this again? Confusing for kids.
I have cousins in broken relationships, like broken marriages, and they are they're dealing with so much mental issues right now.
Yeah, you know, broken relationships and polyamorous, I would say, sorry, but it is a broken relationship. It's just a bad place for children. Children need to see parents loving each other. Okay, last one. It's kind of personal, but it's what I found. Alright? So, you don't have to answer it, but it would be nice if you do. Alright. So my current relationship fulfills my needs. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Read the
Jade,
statement again.
my current relationship fulfills my needs.
Explain.
That's it. I mean, I'll do my answer if you want.
I guess
go
it
for it.
depends on what kind of relationship.
Well, I don't have a relationship, so no, it does not fulfill my needs.
So a romantic relationship? Like, romantic interest kind of thing?
Yes. Or not romantic if
Well, it
that's
doesn't
what
have to be
fulfills your
romantic, but it
needs.
gives a better idea, like, couple kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yeah.
whatever else.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, not having a relationship obviously doesn't fulfill my needs and my greater sense of life. I mean, I'm okay and I can
Yeah.
handle it being by myself, but I wouldn't say my needs are all fulfilled by not having a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jade, I'm guessing you're going to say the same thing unless you pull some shit out that I didn't know about.
Well, did you know that way back at... No, I'm joking. Yep, no, if you've got to be in a relationship for any of your needs to be filled, like to feel... How do you phrase this in a way that makes sense?
I know where you're going with this, Jade. I have a feeling
Yeah,
you're
no,
going on the
oh.
path of, oh, I don't need a relationship, my needs are all fulfilled by myself. Right?
No, you're completely wrong. My thing is more...
You've got a
If you
problem.
need it that bad, to a point where it's the thing that drives you, because your needs are filled by yourself, but normally a relationship is the thing that gives you a drive for younger people.
Yeah, I actually would agree
But
with that.
if you need that to be your drive, then, well, you need to do some self-care, homie.
Yeah.
I would like you to elaborate on that, because I don't fully understand what you mean.
So, a lot of people find their own drive by being with other people.
Drive as in...
It's something to strive for. It's like a goal. It's like do it for them
Okay.
instead of do it for yourself.
Okay,
Like a
yeah.
greater purpose? A greater purpose.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It gives them a reason. And because of that reason, it gives them their drive to fulfill their needs. So that's what I'm looking at it like, but there's a point where you've got to realise that you can't do that. That doing it that way is being self-destructive, because then when your drive is gone, and if your drive leaves, you lose everything and you crash.
I think it's...
Yeah. Oh, we sort of just did that at the exact same time, so you're all good.
Alright, go.
Yeah, who's going first, me or you?
Oh, I was
You
going to
start?
elaborate onto it.
Or what? What's
Oh, I
going
just
on?
want to elaborate to what was already said. It's just like, I think, I wouldn't really know. I haven't been on the earth for that long, but it's like, I mean, none of us have really, to be honest. But obviously, like, the whole thing would probably be like, you get on the earth, you do something, you find something to do, you find your purpose, you find something that, like, makes you click kind of thing. And when you're looking for someone in a person, you're looking for someone who complements you, who suits your lifestyle better. Well, I mean, yeah, they've got to suit your lifestyle, you know. They complement you, they make you happy, preferably. I hope they
So in
make you happy.
turn, you do the same, and it helps you. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
because
you
you
get a greater drive and you get a greater
give you a
purpose
reason to do
because,
more.
yeah, your purpose is no longer just what you're doing before. Your purpose is what you're doing or anything new you've picked up along the way, plus them. It's an
Yep, no,
addition, it's
and-
not a sole purpose.
Yeah, no, because when you think of it as a purpose, it becomes I'll be better for them instead of I'll be better for me.
I'll be better for them, be better for me. I mean, you should always be better for yourself.
Yeah, but exactly, because when them's gone, you're back to being a shit person.
Yeah.
You're back to snapping chocolate bars at the warehouse.
You're damn right.
As a coping mechanism. Okay, yeah.
My villain arc.
Alright, yeah.
I feel like you
okay.
do that any snap the chocolate bars anyways.
It's just fun, right? Going around
Fucking
snapping
asshole
people.
move, bro. Alright, pal. Fucking cunt. Alright. Yeah, okay, that's better now that you elaborate, because I thought you were trying to just call me out there and be like,
No.
you need stuff from a relationship, you loser. You're supposed to get everything from yourself.
Your drive off it.
Yeah, okay. So if it's your sole purpose, then that's unhealthy. Okay, that makes sense. But when I say that my needs aren't all met, I'm talking about, obviously there are things.
I wasn't elaborating on anything you said.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, when I said needs, I wasn't meaning my whole reason for living. It was, to be
just additional
in this
emotional
relationship. Right? It's like it's the additional support that I don't have anymore, which I'd really appreciate, but I don't have the choice of having it or not. So, I'm able to be fine. And I'm able to go, okay, there is still purpose in my life. But I would say that in the grand scheme of things. What's that?
Because there's a big difference in those two words. Would you call it a need or a want?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I could call that a want. But then it was also stuff that are like, that is like, what's the name, physical, in terms of like physicality.
It's a preference over necessity.
Yeah, I guess so. And if I want to have children in my life, obviously that is a need. I guess, right? Maybe. I don't know. If that's parental.
It's a need for your wants.
You want children. Well,
yeah,
it depends on what you class as need. Is reproduction a need or a want when it comes to a general aspect? It's a need, or else we'll die.
It's a need for society. It's a want personally.
Basically, yes.
True. That's actually an interesting point. So then I guess my needs are kind of fulfilled, but that's also, if you look at Maslow's...
Just agreed with you, we wouldn't have made it this far.
That was, what's the name? There's a thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's interesting when you look at it. It's like this pyramid, it's like the food pyramid, right, if you've seen that. But, let me just have a look.
Welcome to Tidal Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah, but it's interesting because it says that, there's... The more you have to basically, when you do your life, you have to unlock every level of this pyramid of your...
To get to next.
Yeah, pretty much. And it starts with obviously things like breathing, water, food, sleep, taking a shit, right? That's obvious, right? Then it goes to the next level. Then it goes to the next level. The next level is like your family life, your sense of morality, your money, your employment and stuff like that. Then the next level has everything to do with love and belonging, like your friendship, your family and sexual intimacy. Next one above that is full on existential purpose and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the interesting thing for me is that, when it says that, intimacy and stuff is a part of the pyramid. So it would be a bit ignorant to say, unless you're like an asexual person, to say, I don't need a relationship at all. You know what I mean?
Well, that also comes down to you can't base that off the general populace anymore.
Yeah, no, everyone's like so different. I feel like human nature is human connection. No relationship at all, not even friends or family is a bit, I couldn't imagine that personally.
Yeah.
Because anything you do in life is part of a society, it's general progression, right? You might as well do nothing at all.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's assuming that you have to do things out of reason as well.
Yeah, but then, why life?
At the end of the pyramid, it's reason. Exactly,
yeah.
But why ask? It's, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't do things because I've got a reason to do them. I do things because it's what I feel I want to do.
Yeah. Well, of course, you should always be doing things you enjoy, but obviously you wouldn't want to do just things you want to enjoy out of that's just survival stuff, whatever else, necessities.
And not everything has to have a reason.
No,
but
of course
having
not.
an overall reason also isn't likely. You just sort of do what you feel is right.
Yeah, I guess.
Stuff doesn't always need a reason if it has some form of personal fulfillment, because that's enough for you, your life. You choose to do things you enjoy or you want to do, so And, like, anything done in life, it's like, you know, you should always be looking at your own purpose, your own wants, your own needs, because everyone's needs, wants, and purposes are different, are seen differently, and everything else like that. So yeah, it comes back down to that personally. It's really hard to talk about some things sometimes because everyone is like so vastly different, both like genetically, physically, and culture-wise. It's just all very different. But it should always come down to you personally, your personal thing.
I guess, but does there ever come a point where like obviously everyone agrees that you can't go around saying, oh, I don't need water in my life, but you actually do.
Well, obviously, I don't need hydrate.
Well,
yeah, but it would be
again,
like the same as...
Oh, I was just gonna say again, like everything I've said, you've got to factor in survivability. The society you live in, because your society will be different to the person next to you who, I don't know, like, person in another country, your society is different to the person inside you.
Yeah, because mine's got clear water. And we don't have spiders that are bigger than you.
Yeah, my whole point when I say these things, because of the whole idea of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is that people shouldn't deny that they need something, even though it's true. And I feel like that's what will happen a lot of the time with a lot of these things, especially when it comes to relationships in modern day and age, because you see all these people talking about, oh, I don't need no man, or guys going, oh, I'm MGTOW. I'm going my own way, red pill, or like, what's the name, incel type of stuff, right? So I feel like there's a big denial. I feel like, a lot of these things are a denial of what you do need in the larger sense of life. Obviously, it's not to say that you need to be sitting there going, fuck, my life's so shit because I don't have a relationship. But it's more to say that, like, a relationship is something that shouldn't just be ignored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just like, oh yeah, it's a luxury. It's going to be a luxury that I'm going to probably live my whole life without, because I don't think anyone really is properly able to do that. Because, you know,
being able to, that's also a big concept of pushing away things that aren't going to hurt you. People who deny that they need it, well, take it this way. You don't need to have it. But pushing it away and believing that to the point where you go, I don't need it so I don't want it, is a whole different story. Because it's not necessarily something that'll punch you in the long run, unless, well, you're going to have to fork up half your money and your assets.
Yeah.
So it's not needing it to the point where you don't want it, that it becomes hazardous. But not needing it and then having it and willingly taking it is a different concept.
And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you don't need it either. It's just kind of your attitude towards it. It's about your attitude and your outlook at the time. I mean, it's not always easy to see that. Your sight's always better in hindsight. Looking back, you always see things better than you do currently. So you're not always going to get it right, but I guess it's about trying.
Shall we move on to some Am I the Arseholes then?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh, well, at least someone's keen.
Yeah. That's me.
Alright, sweet. You have the first one, I believe. It's been sent through to the group.
Who?
The first Am I the Arsehole.
I've got the document.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we both have the document.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm just, am I the arsehole for getting involved in my housemate's polyamorous drama?
It's a bit vague for me. Usually, a lot of the time, I just take a judgment straight from the start.
It's really quite grey.
It depends on the concept of if you solely just, like, walked in out of nowhere and went, hey, I don't like this, well, then yes, you're a dick. It's none of your business.
Like, red-handed.
But if it's affecting you in some way, then, yeah, it's different.
If that was, like, your best mate, you know, and you've seen it all happen, they've included you, you're involved, they've asked for your advice along the way. If you get involved when they've asked for your advice, that's different. It depends on, like, getting involved. So if you get involved, were you already involved? I'm not too sure. That wording suggests they weren't already involved. So
yeah, probably. Oh well, let's
they might
go
be the
on
arsehole.
through it.
Yeah, so I'm just reading it now.
You want to read it out loud, or...?
Yeah, I'll just read it in my head.
Wait, what?
Anyways.
No, the way it works is you read it out loud, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no,
Oh my god.
Alright, sweet. Alright. So it says here, I'm strictly monogamous for context, and I live in a progressive group house. When I first moved in, I became close with a couple in the house. They had a very nasty breakup as my housemate broke their relationship rules and kissed another woman without asking her permission first. I took his girlfriend's side initially and put more effort into staying friends with her, as I was sketched out by the housemate's behaviour and was planning on distancing myself from him and possibly moving out. What followed was a year of them continuing to sleep together, culminating in nasty abusive fights when she would inevitably find out, sometimes through me, that he was seeing another woman. She was fully aware that he was sleeping with other women in theory, but would cycle through meltdowns over it anytime it actually happened. There were several instances where he was lying to her in order to avoid a blowout, and she would find the truth out through me. Sometimes by accident, sometimes intentionally. I saw him as trying to have his cake and eating it too by continuing to sleep with her, and lying to her so she would continue to pull it out. I did not want to cover for his lies, and I did not really consider him a friend at this point. I also told him directly that I thought he needed to stop sleeping with her and that the way he was acting was wrong. The cycle only happened a few times before I stopped telling her anything, as she refused to stop trying to get back together with him. They finally broke it off and she became very nasty towards me, for unrelated reasons, I think, ? And I no longer speak to her. The entire experience was insane, and I think they both treated each other terribly. I was deeply frustrated that my housemate continued to sleep with her, and I was deeply frustrated with her not having the self-control to cut him off. My housemate and I have bonded since that relationship ended, and I consider him a friend now. He has a new girlfriend, but we were sitting alone together. She asked me how he was as a partner, and I stressed to tell her that I deeply disliked the way his last major relationship went down. I said that I thought it was abusive on both sides. I also said that he had been a good friend to me personally, which he has. He's helped me out with several major things. And that if she were able to emotionally handle polyamory, I didn't see why there should be any issues. Still, my warnings about how badly things escalated with the other women caused a lot of tension between them. And she asked him about it. Sorry, my brain. And now my roommate is predictably pissed at me for getting involved in his relationship. I've asked the new girlfriend to not involve me going forward or ask me any questions about what he's up to. Am I the asshole?
So in the first paragraph, I don't think so. The part where she was annoyed at the guy for how he was acting, because I think I would agree. I don't think this was a polyamorous relationship to begin with. It was just sort of a drama where he cheated, so she was annoyed at him for cheating.
Yeah, that's all it's sounding like.
That's all good.
It was
then
a lot
on
of...
the bottom one...
That's qualified.
Yeah, the bottom one, she kind of just like... I don't know, she just kind of went and talked shit about him to the new girlfriend.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he must have had good intentions, but I think the ground rules is always, like, it's up to him to share that when he's ready.
Yeah, pretty
like,
much.
I probably would have been like, you know, he's been a good friend to me. It's probably not my place to say that sort of stuff, but, you know, that's up to him.
Yeah, although she did ask.
Even if, yeah, she asked, yeah. It's just like, hey, well, it's not really my place to share it as I wasn't in the relationship, so... But, you know, he was a good friend to me.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. So I guess she was kind of the asshole for just sharing that. But also the guy was an asshole for how he was treating the last woman. And the last woman was just dumb. Not an ass, just fucking stupid. Just a bimbo.
Well, it's like kind of fair to the woman, but not fair to your mate, you know? Fair to the new girl, but not fair to him.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't really their place to share that information, regardless of whether it was fair to the woman or not. I would have just kind of been like, well, I wasn't in that relationship, you know, it wasn't me, so I don't think it's my place to share.
Alrighty. Yeah, I agree then.
Unless they were my friend.
The guy was an asshole in his last relationship. The girl in the last relationship was a bimbo. The new girl is completely fine. And the girl asking is a bit of an asshole. No, the new girl's completely sweet, obviously.
I guess it's a it's a warrantable thing when you're talking about polyamorous bullshit. You got to target all of them equally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like there's nothing really wrong. There's nothing inherently wrong with asking, your new man's friend, how the relationship is, and it's up to the friend whether they're gonna share or not. It kind of says stuff about the person if they share anything. So she's just trying to suss out the situation.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily their place to share anything about the previous relationship. I just sort of said like, hey, stuff happens. I wouldn't even said that. I just would be like, hey, wasn't my relationship. It's not my place to share. It wouldn't be that accurate.
And
but
my
by any
business
means,
is
ask
one
them.
ask people.
Yeah, ask your boyfriend, man. Like, he's a good friend to me. That's about it. That's all I really know to share. And unless that new chick was my best friend, if they were my best friend, I would have shared everything. But this is a completely new person in the scene.
Yeah. Alrighty. Do you want to move on to the next one? I'll read this one out.
Yes, please. I didn't
Alright.
want to...
Yes, please. You hated that last one.
I'm reading.
Okay, fair enough. Alright. Am I the asshole for muting a friend because all she talks about is her pansexuality and polyamory crap?
No, not the asshole.
No.
This is the fucking preaching shit that we were talking about.
When your sexuality is your personality.
That makes you a
Gay!
dick. Gay!
Fucking
No, I'm just joking.
Alrighty. Want some more context?
Yep, let's go.
I have this friend named Ashley, and while we are not super close, we do have many overlapping circles. So we see each other a lot and are in a lot of group chats. We also used to comment a lot on others' social media stuff. She's nice enough and can be really funny, but in the last year or so she has come out as pansexual and polyamorous. She is married. It is all she talks about. At first it was fine. I just figured she was excited about figuring out who she was and she would quiet down eventually. This has not happened. Every other sentence she speaks, or types, is about her latest boy/girlfriend and how she doesn't understand how anyone can be monogamous or totally straight. For the record, I am both of those things. She is also constantly promoting her OnlyFans. I do not care about her sex life, and frankly I don't want to hear it anymore. She's just become amazingly boring and honestly kind of offensive. So I figured the best way to not have to hear her anymore, but not offend anyone, was just to mute her on all social media. So I did around 3 months ago. Anyway, she noticed. She asked me in one of the group chats why I hadn't been commenting on any of her posts. I probably should have lied, but I couldn't think of one and just told her the truth. I muted her because her sex life has become all-encompassing and I was tired of hearing about it. She called me bigoted and a prude. She tried to get the other people in the chat to come to her defense. A couple did, but most said nothing. It's been a few weeks since this and the group chat has been totally silent. I reached out to someone I'm closer with directly and she said that the group's divided between people who think I was an arsehole and those who think that Ashley is overreacting. I don't think I did anything wrong, besides being a bad liar. So judgmental internet, did I? Am I the arsehole here?
Wow. They're definitely not the arsehole.
Not even
This
close.
Ashley chick was just
I'd relate to this guy.
Yeah, this
I
Ashley
agree.
chick was just like, you're bigoted and everything else because you didn't pay attention to me. All about me. You didn't pay attention to me, so therefore you're an arsehole. How dare you ignore me? You're an arsehole.
My whole thing is like, the only thing that I would have done differently that he didn't do is tell the bitch, shut up, I don't care, bro. Shut up, bro. Talk about something else, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, okay,
Yeah, I
here's
know.
nothing. Freedom of speech, whatever. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but like to be like all the time, all the freaking time, like, oh, I don't understand how people can be straight, completely straight and monogamous. Like, shut up. No one asked. Like, yeah, you can say
Like
it,
the first
but like,
time, like a guy who reuses jokes over and over again. Like the first time it's dry, it's like ha ha ha. Then the second time it's like, nah, and then the third time, shut up, bro. That's not funny.
sometimes it's funny
the
between
fourth
like
time.
friend groups, whatever. But like that's not even a bloody joke. It's just freaking wrong facts.
Then the fourth time it's a knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah. Boom.
The fifth
And
time
sorry.
it's a
time it's finished in the job
roundhouse.
off.
Yeah, no, the guy's not the asshole. I agree with him fully. I just would have handled it a lot better.
I'm just thinking about it, right? This chick's married, right?
Yeah.
She's gone out bragging about her polyamory, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what that shouts to me is that she is unsatisfied by the person she married. So she has to go out and find... Yeah. She's bragging about the fact that she is not satisfied in her marriage. And has to go out and find other people. And not only that, but chances are the other people that she is finding aren't interested in having a proper relationship with her anyways. So she's married to someone because of the comfort, but she really wants stuff from other people that will not give her the comfort. So, and she's going and bragging about it. She's going out there and bragging about her situation.
She was like, I'm not loyal to my man. Well, I'm not really loyal to my man. And I get both sides of the pie. Both.
Man, it's a rough life for whoever's married to her.
Yeah, nah, sorry.
This is why I don't believe in marriage.
Did you know what she also says?
Look for her OnlyFans. Get a hold of her husband.
You know what she says, like...
What were you gonna say, Hannah?
You know when... Oh, I was just gonna say, like, you know when she says, oh, I can't believe how people can be completely monogamous and completely straight. What that says is she's saying, is like, she believes everyone should put out, and everyone should just like everything. That's what she's saying.
I said I know why she's saying that. She's saying that because she's tried to get with people who were in monogamous relationships. They said no, so she went, oh, well, I just don't understand how you do it. You must be wrong.
Yeah, everyone should want to put out to me. Everyone should. No, that just shows that she's been rejected for people with common sense and, like, a brain. Yeah.
Fucking bitch.
That is such a... that's such a freaking opinion to be slapping down. She is the prime example. She's a freaking rainbow flag waver, shoved down your throat freaking person that I don't like. I've got no problem with gays, right? But when they try to shove everything down your throat every 3 seconds and say, you should also be gay, that's where I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's where things start getting annoying.
Yeah.
You want to shove something down my throat, I'll shove my fist down yours, you bastard.
It's quite funny when you talk about gays wanting to shove something down your throat.
Yeah, quite literally.
Hey, get out of it!
Get out of it! Something up your ass.
Get out of it, boy!
But,
down!
What? No, I mean, I don't know if that'll work. Or shove something in your ass, so probably thank you.
Well, you can come close to mine and I'll stab you.
They do like being penetrated.
They're all sorts of messed up kind of thing. I'm pretty sure just a quick death is what they deserve. But or it'd have to be slow, but something they genuinely wouldn't enjoy.
And now before we get into being not safe, into violence and killing people and getting taken off the platform and cancelled, why don't we move on to the next one? Because it seems we all have the same opinion. Bitch is a bimbo and she should shut her fucking mouth.
Yeah, bitch is an idiot guy. Idiot guy bragging about things that aren't things to brag about.
No, exactly.
I am unsatisfied in my marriage. How could anyone not be unsatisfied in their marriage?
My husband is not right for me and I sleep around.
Because of it. And I just stay in the relationship so that I can sit back and enjoy the lifestyle that his cushy job offers.
This person is like the epitome of toxic and very self-centered, almost like narcissistic. It's just like you're full on attacking someone just because they wanted a bit of a break. Pretty much essentially a little bit of like, they wanted a bit of quiet time from you, and also like they were like nice to you. They didn't tell you anything, they didn't offend you, but the fact that they didn't want to pen it to you and be like, oh, so proud of you, like, you go girl, or whatever you are, you shine and amazing, and like every single person, like, just because they weren't there for you 24/7, they're an asshole.
I mean, I think we pretty much all agree on this topic.
So, we'll move on to the next one, because this goes back into your family dynamic.
Oh, lovely.
Your structure.
Oh. This is a victim of the situation, a child born.
Oh.
Alrighty.
Let's
You
get
gonna read
started.
this one out, Jade?
Yep, I've got it right here.
Let's go on and do it.
Feels like class reading.
Am I the asshole for yelling at my parents that their polyamory fucked up my childhood?
Nah.
No.
Yeah? No,
You're
no,
based.
exactly.
You're based.
Your face. Right, let's have a look, why don't we?
You're the
Ah,
based.
starts with an edit. To all of you who DM'd me to tell me about how fucking great polyamory is, and that you're mad I gave it a bad name, you have issues, if that's what you take away from this post.
Bro, it's that chick. She's back. That married chick. Already making a comeback.
Yeah, fucking bitch. Well, good to know that the Polyamory Society has decided to come and fuck this post.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Let's have a look. I believe it started when I was 6 years old. My parents often had friends over in the house. I didn't know they were polyamorous, of course. One day, I was outside playing, got hurt, and when I ran inside, caught my parents making out with some random guy. They told me they have other adults that they love and it's a completely normal thing. Me being a child just accepted that.
Oh no.
They gave up being secretive and their partners would constantly be around on outings. I remembered that on my 10th birthday they invited 3 of their partners.
Ugh.
One of whom I'd never seen before. And for the rest of the day my parents just withdrew from my party and hung out with them.
Oh, that's awful.
I never saw them doing anything explicit again, but they would kiss their partners, hug them, make flirty comments. Something that would be normal between parents, but with many more people. Sometimes I came home from school and my parents were gone, and there was some random adult in our house. Some of them seemed surprised that my parents even had a child.
Oh man.
I always hated it, but since my parents had told me this was normal, I assumed many adults probably did similar things and that it's just an adult thing all kids hate. Later they had less partners and eventually seemed to stop. Not that I'd know for sure because I moved out with 17. At 17?
Yeah, I think
Well,
that's
because I moved out.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it anymore. A year ago I started therapy, for other reasons. As usual, the topic of my upbringing came up and it brought back many feelings I wasn't aware of. I realized, although my parents were always good to me, I had never really felt close to any of them and still have a lot of resentment that they made me feel like I had to compete for my parents' attention with random strangers. A while ago, I visited them and they told me they are going to take part in a documentary about polyamorous families and that the producers would like to include interviews with the children. So they would love if I could agree and tell everyone that polyamory doesn't mess kids up. All my resentment bubbled up and I said that I cannot agree because I would not be able to say anything positive. My parents looked shocked. I had never brought this up before, and asked why. And I unloaded all. That I always felt pushed aside, we barely had any family time without strangers intruding. It turned into an argument and I became loud and yelled that the truth is it did fuck me up and they shouldn't have had a child if their number one priority was fucking the whole world. Yeah, I like that.
Based.
My mother cried and my father said I should probably leave. So I left and was shaken up for the rest of the week, but also felt regret because I've never made my mum cry before. Later my father sent me a message that was like, "We are sorry you feel that way. Can we have a calm discussion about this soon?" Even though I tried to, it's like I can't reply. This argument brought something very emotional up in me. Am I the asshole for for hurting my parents over this, especially since I have never brought it up before?
Nah, no way.
No.
No fucking way.
No.
I can see how.
And
that
if they
fucks
weren't
out.
neglectful, they obviously weren't paying any attention to their kid, and if they were actually paying attention, they would have realised, and he wouldn't have to bring it up. You know, if you're missing out on birthday parties and some other events just because you're too busy, like, with your sexual needs, you shouldn't have had a kid because you're not paying any attention. And, like, how would it be such a shock if you were actually paying attention to your kid? You know, and you confused a child. They thought it was normal and they hated it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we were talking about before. You've confused the child. The child thought it was normal, that all kids hated it, but it happened with everybody until he grew up. And then he realised that this is wrong. You never showed him any attention. You brought strangers into the home. I could understand it would have changed things if the kid knew every single one of your partners, but if you kept getting partners over and over again and you just kept bringing different strangers in every time, that's gonna fuck with the kid. Especially because you're taking that stranger and you're putting them above your child. You're giving the stranger more priority.
Yeah.
That's just an open relationship, that's all it is. And, like, you're exposing your kid to it, they've seen some stuff, and from the sounds of it, they just let complete strangers just babysit their kids sometimes. It said their parents are nowhere to be seen, but a random adult was there.
Yeah, no, that's the one that pissed me off, is the fact that, like, you're telling me when this kid got home, the parents weren't in sight, but there was a random stranger sitting on the fucking couch. That's what pissed me off about the fucking post.
And, like, who's to know, like, anyone could seem like a good person, but who's to know if they weren't a pedophile?
Exactly.
And you were neglecting your child anyway. Something could have happened, and yet again, they think it's normal. Or even if they said something, who's to prove?
And even if the dude's not a pedophile, you've got enough trust in him to not do anything and leave him behind with the kid that doesn't know him.
Clearly never met them before. You've never introduced the kid. You could have at least introduced the kid.
Yeah, the post like this makes me realise why monogamy exists. Really.
Yeah.
It's the whole
People
point of
don't know how
monogamy
to...
is for the family, in the end, really.
Specifically, the child.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps the child get a good grip on what society's about. That there are male and females. There's two of them. But I feel like if polyamory was as normal as monogamy is, so if they swapped places, society wouldn't run the same. Yes, it would be normal, but you'd still fuck the kid up because of all the other aspects, bringing in strangers, leaving them with people they don't know and not paying them enough attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas when you've only got two parents, all their attention is on you, they look after you, you know these two people and you can go up to trust them in, you know, a perfect world.
Yeah, well, I mean,
more than one other person is a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like there's just only so much love you can give out, I guess, and intimacy and whatever you can give out.
Yeah.
So if you give it out to one person is special enough for you, and then to your children, that's manageable. But if you have so many different people that you're being intimate with and letting in on that very intimate level, you know, you don't have room.
It's the capacity. Like, even them, right?
Just makes,
like,
yeah, I don't know. This is my own personal opinion, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, in my head, and it might be because monogamy is the normality, but in my head, I don't think that you can truly love somebody if you're going around pulling other people into it.
Yeah, if you're like going around letting someone in on that very intimate thing, or giving your intimate energy towards someone. Like for me, but I'm very conservative. Like, I'm pretty conservative, so like I can't even get behind hookup culture if you're single, right? So polyamory is it's a whole other thing for me. But I can't even get behind the idea of putting that energy out to someone for one night and then, or even a friends with benefits situation, you know. For me, it has to be like you have to have both.
I can't get behind that either.
Well,
I've done the hookup.
Sorry. I was gonna say, at least friends with benefit, you've got some sort of relationship there, pre-existing. But even then, it's the same.
Yeah, I know. Jade was gonna say something. Were you gonna say you can hook up?
No, I said I did hook up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It doesn't fix anything. Like, I did all of that, but Yeah, no, it's not the same. I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
I did it because of a situation and how my brain felt at the time. So being there, done that doesn't help.
Fair enough. I can't say I've done the same
You've tested
thing.
it and it doesn't work.
Well, I always
Yeah,
just
it's just-
believed
yeah.
logically in my head that it's not the right thing, so when opportunities have arisen, I've said no. It's not the right thing
Yeah,
to
that's.
Oh,
I'd say like I feel like
take your hands off me.
I was just gonna say it's about levels as well. Like from before, even a child, like even a large family, you got a parent and like you got two parents, you got mother, father, and let's say you even got like 5 kids, because whatever, 5 kids. Even that's manageable, and you've got siblings and everything else like that. Like there's different levels. Romantically, like that sort of intimacy, that sort of relationship is a lot more high maintenance than sort of relationship you'd have with a child. It's so different, and it's a lot more manageable. Like it's a whole different level, and like in our brain, like the way humans are wired, they are actually wired to be able to take care of multiple children and have that sort of relationship. But I just don't believe the wiring is the same with that sort of emotional, romantic relationship.
That makes a lot of
As
sense.
like we already said it. Yeah. So like it's not even about large like polyamory being bad because like large families. It's with adults, you know, because you could have that with children. That's fine. It's just about the levels and the capacity for that.
I can agree as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just something weird about polyamory that just has this like raw sort of feeling of
Gives you the ick.
grossness. Yeah. For me.
Gives
yeah.
me the ick.
It just kind of feels gross. You know?
Yeah,
We're in
it
two
feels
different
wrong.
countries and like we've never met. We both feel that ick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I ain't never met a polyamory nigga and I still feel that ick.
Yeah. Just to try to think of someone being polyamorous gives me a literal ick.
Yeah. I know.
Like, yourself, good on you, Paul, but don't drag me into it. Don't constantly talk about it.
Yeah.
And we can be fine.
It's not really good on you, bro, if you feel gross when you think about them doing something.
No, my thing is more, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I feel bad for your kid and I feel bad for you because you're not fulfilled in your relationship and your kid is going to grow up to resent and hate you because you're bringing strangers around him and he's not going to get to know what's right or wrong. Good on you.
They may not resent you, but they'll be messed up. Either way.
Well, you do what you feel is right. You're not hurting anybody else besides, well, the ones that are closest to you. That's none of my business. You want to get a drink?
It's like, listen, do what you like, but I'm not gonna like it. Keep it over there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Again,
You
what's the three
hurting
things?
who
Keep the balls on that side of the table.
Yeah, it's not my business. But I don't
You're
like
good, brother. I don't hate you because you're gay. I don't like what you do. But if your nutsack touches me, I'm going to punch you in your throat.
I'm gonna castrate you if you're not
Yeah.
touching you.
No, I'm not going to touch your nuts because you might like that. You will.
Sweet. Alright.
Oh, no.
Anything else to add, or shall we wrap this bad boy up?
Nothing else. I think I went off on my tangent.
I think that's about everything, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that covers the topic quite nicely. Okay, so that was
Anything else
the...
I can think of? Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, no, I was just saying anything
Yeah,
else I
you're-
could think of would go back to what was already said, so... Yeah.
Sweet. No problem. Alright. So, that was the Desensitized podcast, episode 11, on polyamory versus monogamy. You were joined by the usual suspects, myself and Chad Mouldy, this time with the guest Hannah. We spoke on everything, talked about a bunch of stuff. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Hannah, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up properly? Not anything off topic as well. You can say anything off topic. Anything you want to say at all.
No, I mean, my brain's a bit off tap today, but that's about it. Not like best thinking skills, so...
Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah,
Alright.
Would
Yeah.
you do it again?
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, well,
That's
people
good.
keep that in mind. Guess
Alright.
might be back.
Guess could be
Sweet.
back. Maybe.
Nice.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Alright.
Depends if they tolerate me. Ha!
Been this long.
Sweet as. I hope you guys who are listening... Oh, Jake. Hello. Anything to say to Jake?
Hey, what's up, bro? No, yeah,
Are
thanks
you gonna
for...
rip into Jake
not
this
the
time?
asshole.
What are you got
No,
to rip
no,
into
no,
him
no.
about?
Oh, I haven't spoken... you... I don't like that you appeal to the furry community.
Okay.
Good having you, Jake.
Alright,
Am I the
good
asshole?
having you listening, Jake. I hope you enjoy your day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever the time is. And everyone else who's watching, if you are watching or listening. Hope you have a good time. That was me. So, yeah. Goodbye.